Okay, looks like we've got noon Central Time here. Welcome everyone to the Seiler Trimble Connect webinar. You'll all probably received a few emails and some case studies that you'll be able to download. But today we're going to go over Trimble Connect and how kind of like a typical workflow example. And since we're a geospatial dealer, we kind of come at this from the perspective of TBC and Trimble Access. So if you're looking for Works Manager or Site Works stuff, you know, that would be through a different dealership group. But yeah, we're going to get started today. I am Greg Larson, the Geospatial Tech Support Manager for Seiler Instrument. I work out of the Wisconsin office. There's my email there. I've been working with Trimble products for well over 20 years, and I've been with Seiler for about 8 years. But before we start talking about Trimble Connect, I just want to talk about what determines project success. And you know, the popular phrase is on time, on budget, on spec, in a safe manner. And you know, there's plenty of examples out there, but a good one is there's this Randselva bridge in Norway, designed heavily in BIM, used a lot of Trimble integration, used Trimble Connect. But you can see like every square millimeter of this bridge seems like it was mapped out, and every piece and component was mapped out. A lot of it probably done beforehand, but some of it probably done during design or construction. But from all accounts, it was a very successful project, probably due to the preparation, the coordination, communication. And then we contrast that with, and this was in the news not too long ago, and there was a bridge in India where for some reason, and there's probably various factors for this, it had a right angle in it. So you can see they had a curve over here, but it got over here, and there was a right angle here. Not very good for traffic. If they had maybe used the method, and maybe they did, so if they were doing, you know, BIM design and all that, then there's a lot of other factors at play here. But it's a good example of how maybe something like this could have been caught had it been, you know, maybe more planning and prep had been done. So, and by the way, just a little housekeeping here. There is, if you have questions, we'll hold them to the end, but you can type them into the questions section, and there's a chat there as well in your meeting controls. So I will try and get to as many of them as I can at the end. So let's start off with a fun example. You know, what's something that defines success, or what's something that's comparable to delivering our project, and that's taking like a group trip. You know, and like spring break group A, you know, small group, loosely planned. You know, they get to their destination. It's not near the beach. You know, everything was planned last minute. They blew their budget on things they forgot. You know, everything was crowded, so they didn't do a lot of planning. Didn't really have a whole lot of fun. Typical group there would probably be a group of college students. I mean, you know, and these can be fun trips, but in my experience, you know, there's always something that happens, and heck, there might even be people that aren't talking to each other after this trip. If we compare that with a large group that goes on a trip, like a corporate group, you know, everything's planned out in advance. They pick a venue where they have a lot of control. There's a lot of coordination for travel. You know, the place is picked because it had a lot of amenities, great food, and a lot of these resorts now have apps and technology that allow people to have a great time. So, you know, great time had by all. Actually, a bunch of us just went on that corporate trip. So thank you to Seiler for that. But, you know, again, planning and coordination really made this large group have a great time. So just kind of compare and contrast something, you know, like a project to something that's a little bit more common. So, and there you go. I mean, that's what you typically see. I'd certainly love to go on this trip on the right, not that one on the left, you know, maybe 25 years ago, but this is what we did. Most of us, I think a lot of us in this audience would want to do, is the trip on the right. So that brings us to common themes. What makes a project succeed? And you can look it up online, but, you know, there's usually anywhere from 5 to 10, you know, themes or bullet points here. And the most common ones are, you know, clearly defined goals. Again, communication, planning, collaboration, and thorough documentation seem to be the things that help projects succeed. And to bring this into Trimble Connect, Trimble Connect can create an environment that supports a lot of these themes. So Trimble can set the table. We can make things easier for you. We can make communication easy, especially within our softwares. There's people have to adhere to it, but we're setting the table for you with Trimble Connect and your software. All right, so let's get into Trimble Connect. So what is it? So it's Trimble's cloud-based platform, data sharing platform, a common data environment, which means I mentioned so Trimble Geospatial, Trimble Construction, and Trimble Building Construction all share this platform, and so you can go across different trades and different industries. And as I'll talk about in a minute, there's projects out there that kind of encompass all three. But just basic numbers here, they have 400 application integrations. It's kind of a backbone for a lot of what they do. If you've used like T4D and stuff like that, it's getting built into that as well, not just some of the construction and survey software. But as of today, there are 8.5 million users. There's been 4.7 million projects created. And right now there's about 1 million active users. That goes up or down depending on activity, but and there's also 17 languages. So it's worldwide. I get this question a lot. So why would I use Trimble Connect versus something like one of the other cloud platforms, like Drive, Dropbox, OneSync or whatever it is? It offers things that help you plan and collaborate and visualize. We'll get into that in a minute, but project schedules are more constricted than ever. A real popular project that's happening in a lot of places right now is a data center. And those are very fast paced, those are very complex. A lot of things are happening at the same time, and their data sets are complex, and data needs to be synced back and forth across trades almost daily, if not multiple times a day. So if they have problems, it's really gonna cause expensive problems down the road. So being able to sync the new data, being able to share that with other people on site or other people in the project quickly is almost becoming a requirement. And again, Trimble Connect provides that common data environment where we can bring multiple design files, multiple file types. A surveyor might be sharing some topo data with an electrical contractor in the same morning. I know on one of these data center projects, they do a utility topo every morning, and it has to be synced to the other trades by noon, I think. So it's a very tight schedule. But we talk a lot about Connect. I'm sure a lot of you know about Connect over the years. You've seen plenty of these diagrams. But what I really want people to start thinking about is it's not about the cloud service, it's about the model. It's about Trimble Connect gives you the environment to create that model, but it's really about the model. It's about your data. It's about getting it combined ahead of time so that you can anticipate issues, problems down the road. So again, to meet that project goal. And what our industries are doing, engineering, construction, surveying, what's really happening is we're taking design or conceptual design to reality. Again, it's all about the model. So think of your projects as virtual data sets. The better they are, I think the better results you're gonna have in the field. And you can think of all of the Trimble software like TBC, Trimble Connect, Access, SiteWorks, FieldLink, all of it. Think of that software and those devices as portals into this virtual data set. That's your goal, is to create a good virtual data set. You can see over here, we've got it looks like a construction layout. Here's the virtual model, and they're using our survey tools to lay it out on the ground. The quicker thing to do would be to blow this plan up life size, just roll it out on site and go stick pins through it. But that's obviously not feasible. So we're using virtual models in our survey devices. And the field devices are critical. They feed that real world data into the virtual data set, and then they also load data collected in the field back up into the virtual design. And if any of you are Sitevision users, if something goes wrong, it'll call you on it pretty quick. So if your augmented reality or your model's not good, augmented reality is going to show you instantly that it's not great. But again, Trimble Connect ties it all together, again, with that common data environment. And just a shout out to the field crews. Y'all have a whole fleet of devices you got to manage. And our field software takes a lot of this. If you were used to transferring files with flash drives and stuff like that, you might have used every single one of these devices, but our field software now, like Trimble Access, makes it a lot easier to send it up to the cloud. And this isn't a new concept. It's just easier now with a common data environment. We were throwing CAD files on point files, well, even before this. This is 2009. It's certainly a lot easier now. This is a Nomad screen, so imagine laying out a hospital on a 3-inch screen. We did it, but we're so glad we've got better devices now to do it with. So again, and this isn't actually that bad of a data set, but we see it a lot. Data that's not in the same spot, data that's millions of feet apart. Think about that model. Think about, we see it a lot. We see data, point file with a CAD file, they're a million feet apart. And when you bring them together, if you don't do it right, all of a sudden there's scaling issues. This one wasn't too bad, just something's not quite at the elevation. It could be a potential for an error, but if the field guys are always fixing these issues, something could go wrong, it could get expensive. It's better if this is all reconciled before it ever gets sent to the field crews. I know it's not always possible, but Trimble Connect helps us do it a little bit better. And again, we want to avoid those mistakes before we ever get out in the field because we want to save that money. Again, you've seen plenty of these diagrams. This is the Trimble Connect diagram as it stands. But again, it's the design to reality. So we got our office software, we got our cloud systems here. These are one of the same, but we got to make a pretty diagram here. So again, the design part of it is your office software, it's your CAD software, it's your survey software, survey office software. Get your models built, get them into the cloud, or a lot of times, as you'll see, you can dump design data right into the cloud off the bat. So this is kind of a fluid process. You don't have to follow it exactly. You'll be able to make it work for you. So again, design to reality. And again, a big part of this is the field component, is our field crews. Making things as easy for them to do, as productive for them, will make this go a lot better. Again, they're putting things on the ground, they're collecting data from the ground. And again, it is all about, again, think of the viewport, all that software, all those devices are viewports into the central model. So the more you do in Connect, the more you get into Connect, the more it's correctly geo-referenced. You'll see issues, you'll be able to anticipate issues, eliminate things down the road. And there's that, that completed model, that integrated model. We've got an IFC model there, we've got a pipe network there, we've got point cloud data, we've got CAD data. Didn't put there's no topo data in there yet, you'll see that later. But that is a fully integrated model to use whatever you need it for. So again, why do we use it over versus, again, the other cloud services? So those other cloud services are, like I'll just name one, like Google Drive, and I love Google Drive. It's a glorified data transfer cable. It's a glorified flash drive. It sends data from the office to the field. That's all it does, is send data back and forth. You can't visualize with it. You can't plan with it. As far as I know, you can send a CAD file over it, but you can't look at it. All right. So, like with TBC and Access, we can send those files back and forth. We don't ever have to go in the cloud. We could just go do our thing in TBC, open up the connected workspace, dump our data into the project, and open it up right in Access. That's the TBC connected workspace, and it syncs directly to Access. And again, no manual file handling. Everything's attached to the project. The field guys get their stuff right away. All they really got to do is log in and hit download. But again, Trimble Connect opens up that visualization tool. So anybody who's got a phone or a computer, you're on vacation, you need to look at something real quick, you can look at Trimble Connect on your phone and address an issue. So you don't have to have expensive survey software. You don't have to have expensive CAD software. Depending on what you're doing, if you're a manager and you're beyond design, you can still be involved with the project. All you need is an internet connection, or if you're sharing data with your clients and you want them to look at something, they don't need CAD software to look at something like an IFC file or another type of BIM file or a CAD file. All you really need to collaborate is a device with internet. So we'll get into the example workflow here. So starting a project, and I said before, traditionally we think of, okay, we open up in the software, we start everything in the office software. That's not necessarily true anymore with the cloud service. We can start projects in the cloud software. Again, I could be a project manager, I'm designing a bridge, and I've got my software, I've done my bridge thing, it's all designed. I pick the design. Okay, this is going to go in this spot. I'm working with you know, another office that runs maybe my survey division and field crews. So, but I need to get the project started. So I don't necessarily have office software, so I can start in the cloud. And then, you know, depending on the design and review process to start a project, you know, we can bounce back and forth. So kind of like think of a multi-office, multi-state corporation, you know, people many hours away. So in this example, I'm going to start, well, before I get into that, you know, Trimble Connect supports a lot of different file formats. This is actually expanded. This is an old slide. I really need to update this. There's tons of formats. So one thing I'm glad Trimble has done is not gone proprietary on a lot of this stuff. I mean, these are all industry accepted formats, and there's even more of them now. So back to starting a project. So again, I could start in TBC, I could start it in the cloud, I can even start it on the data collector. But in this example, I'm a manager that is in a far off office, need to get the project started. I don't need software, I just need internet connection. Obviously I need an account. As you can see, as we start this project, I can even do things like set project settings, coordinate systems, especially with the Access 2025-21 in December. There's some enhancements with Connect where we can set project settings a little easier now. And then obviously dump CAD files, whatever they are, CAD, BIM, whatever it needs to be. So here we're gonna go ahead and start a new project. Again, I may not even have the Trimble software. I might have designed my bridge in something else, but I can start the project. I can say where it is. I can set my licensing. Depending on how you're set up, there's different license levels. We'll get into that. Here is the Trimble Connect web interface. Usually what you're going to do typically now is go into settings, go to those project details. You know, and one of the important things is, well, where is this project? What are we doing? You know, where is it? So I can draw. In this, let's draw a boundary on the map. This helps you this helps the system determine what coordinate systems you can search for. So we draw it on the map. So right away the map is involved. We've determined the correct area, and now we're determining the correct coordinate system. So this is in Michigan. We're going to go ahead and pick Michigan. You know, and there's a foot designation there. And we'll save the changes there. So now the coordinate system is set for the project. And you'll see why it's important later on when we get into Access. Set your units. Michigan is an imperial foot state, and as we all will be sometime, not quite sometime, you know, it's been going on forever, but now the project open, we've set some settings. Now we need to put our design data in there. So I've designed this bridge. It's an IFC model. And I've got it in Connect. I am now pushing it on to my other team members here. So once it's in Connect, now we can do other things in TBC and Access. But again, here's the visualization tool. It's a full layer manager. It's basically a full CAD program, a full BIM viewer. Again, the other cloud surfaces, Drive and Dropbox and whatever the other services are, don't do that. So right off the bat, we've got collaboration and visualization. All right, so now other office, I am an engineering manager or a survey manager. We need to get this project into TBC. It may not be geo-referenced, we can do it here. So we'll go ahead and get into TBC. All we gotta do is go to the connected workspace. We're not going into file explorers. We're not looking through cloud services online. We're not looking for the right folder. We do need the right project. Hopefully that was communicated. So we go to the right project, there's all the stuff attached. So all the stuff that was dropped into Trimble Connect Web is there. So there's that IFC. Looks like we added a CSV to probably geo-reference it. And looks like we added a road surface to get our project going. We're probably directing our field crews here. They're gonna do something on that road. We probably wanna determine if that bridge is gonna be in the right spot. How does it look in the surrounding terrain? Those are some utilities that are either surveyed or they're going to be put in. And once we're done with our prep work, our design prep work, open the connected workspace again, pick the project. It could be a different project, but usually you want to stay in the same one. And this new updated model is now going to go up to the cloud. So there it is with the surface, the bridge, and it's culvert bridge, and that pipe network, or the utility there. So again, TBC connected workspace is a direct link to Trimble Connect. Again, the other way with other cloud services, we've got to export it out of TBC. We've got to put it on our computer somewhere in a folder, upload it to the drive service or whatever it is. Just extra steps. There was open connected workspace, get it in the right project. So, a typical project will probably bounce between the cloud and TBC. We're probably a couple people are collaborating on this. But let's say, okay, we've got our design kind of set for what we want to do in the field. So now we're gonna go up to the cloud and just make sure that everyone is involved in the project that we need to be. So we're gonna collaborate in the cloud. So here's where we're gonna add team members, assign tasks, continue to add model data, and there are ways to track activity, especially the model data. And if you upload different versions of models, they are archived. So we'll get into that. So here we are in the same project. Sorry, I sped this up a little bit. Inviting people is pretty easy. Just hit team, hit invite people. One thing you want to do though, if you are going to use groups, is to create the group ahead of time. Before you create the users, it's easier to add the users to the group if the group's already there. And the users can be user or admin. Admin level participants have full control over files. Users may only have read-only permissions on some of the files. If I were doing a training, I'd take a real deep dive into the settings. You can set permissions for just about anything in here, folders, files, all kinds of things. That's down in the settings. We don't have time for that today. And what I'm doing right now is creating a to-do. So this is some task management. It's there if you want it. The nice thing about it is if I assign a task in Connect, it emails the participant. I guess I'm emailing it to myself. I can view the to-do. Nice thing about to-dos is that you can put attachments with them. And the nice thing is you can add attachments. You can also add a view. So if I've created a view in the 3D file explorer, I can add that as well. And let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what are we doing? So this is the view I created in the 3D visualizer. So there's where it looks like, okay, this is an area of interest. We need to make sure that this is, the right elevation or something, or check the road condition there. So that is to-dos, inviting team members, giving them to-dos, looking at some of the data in the field. Looks like we marked up the model. So that's there if you want it. Again, that's collaboration in the cloud. Again, we could go, the TBC was over here. We could send everything, as soon as our design stuff is complete, we could send everything over to Access. I would encourage everyone to check this out, especially if you were looking into project management software. That might be enough for you, because that stuff is not cheap. Next step here, step number 3, okay, we're gonna sync data in the field to Trimble Access. As soon as everything is in the cloud, it will be available to a user in Access. All they have to do is log in to their Trimble Connect account. And the nice thing about the way this is handled is if you're following the process, is that all the design data, all the project files and everything are attached to a particular job. So that the job right here is the one we're working in. Again, now I'm a field person, so think of me as a field person right now. And as a tech support manager, I get a lot of calls about this. Is where are my files? I lost my files. I don't know where to find them. I don't know how to go through the Trimble data folder. We get tons of calls on that. With Trimble Connect, all you're gonna have to do is log in, pick the project. If it's not synced to the collector yet, it's in gray. But the great thing is, and you'll see it in the video, is everything is attached to the project. We're not searching through file explorers, Windows Explorer, and stuff like that. So here we go. We're logged into Trimble Access already. I click on the project. There's the project files. Again, they're attached to the project. They're already there. You just got to hit download. No flash drives, no cables, no driving 2 hours to the office to sync everything up. As soon as this stuff is in the cloud, this is available to you. And here's one of the newer things, if you haven't used the new versions of Access, is project height, and then the project, since we set the coordinate system already, it's already there, as you saw that. And there's the project data. And I'm gonna create a new job on the collector so you can see this. So another option, create from, is project settings now. So the settings that were set in the cloud, Trimble Connect, automatically populate if you use the project settings. And you do have the traditional ways there as well, but again, it's all pre-done for the field person. You know, and again, you can create jobs the old way as well, but there's that data. There it is on the map. It's in the right spot. You know, we determined it in TBC. The field person gets the same files in the same spot now that we've preset everything. And again, you can do everything manually too, but you know, in the past we had to go ahead and find, you know, we had to load everything out of the flash drive, find that file, get it in the right spot, link it up, but now everything's organized by project. All right, so that's access. We do our field work, and now we are ready to send things back to the cloud. Again, field work is done on the collector. You hit sync, and it'll be available in the cloud within minutes. And what I want to kind of point out with Trimble Connect, and again, I mentioned people hunting through their file explorer. If you've ever used an SX10 or an SX12, this is the file structure. And there's quite a few files, you know, with all the pictures and scans. A lot of times people will copy the job file and forget about the folder here. With Connect, with the way it syncs now, is we don't have to worry about all of this. We don't have to worry about copying it to the flash drive. So again, as soon as your work is done, it can be synced in the cloud in minutes. And you can auto sync as well. You can set it to sync as soon as a survey's ended, as soon as a job is closed, as soon as access is closed. So there's those settings in there as well. But it's a direct link to Trimble Connect. Everything is organized by project. So here we did our survey work. Looks like we did some center line, some curb and gutter. We're all done. We're walking back to the truck. Now, since I created the job on a collector, it doesn't automatically upload. I do have to hit upload. And you'll see it in another slide here. There will be a way to create jobs in the cloud as well. But I do like creating them on the collector, especially if you have all the pertinent information. But there it's synced up. It's now in the cloud. And we are ready to move on. Again, we could go to TBC at this point. Everything that we just did would be available in TBC right away. But you know, maybe we need to probably take a little bit of QA, QC. The manager wants to take a look before he starts in TBC. So we're gonna look at stuff in the cloud. If we need to send stuff back out to the field, we certainly can. Then what's new in the cloud, in Trimble Connect Cloud, in December 2025 is they did change the field data extension. You know, I know there were some people, I know there was an older version, it completely changed. I do like the new one. I didn't at first, I do like it now. So if you have questions on it, I will certainly walk you through it. The nice thing is feature code libraries are supported, metadata can be viewed. But the nice thing is they gave us a map. So we're back in our project here. You do have to turn on your field data extension for every project. I hope that changes. There's the field data extension. You got to click into it here. There's our feature library. So this is now the new field data extension as of December of 25. So it shows you the job files. It shows, if you can click on them, you can see what's in them. But there, it shows all the points on the map. So we can take a quick look at our field work. Okay, yep, looks like it's in the right spot. Looks like they did their job. You know, I hope it changes, but it doesn't display the model data in this extension. I hope that changes. I'm sure we'll see some more integration of that in the future. But for now, it does have a lot of features where we can check everything on the map. We can check every point. If you do have a feature library, things are grouped by layer according to the feature library. But here's the new thing too, is we can create a new job file online. So, oh, I noticed something. Okay, I'm a manager. I noticed something. Hey, let's go and spec this. I'm going to create the job for you. So this job file will now sync back down to the collector. The field user will see that there's a new job there because it was created in the field data extension. You can link files, you can link models and stuff like that. You can assign users. So if you want particular users for every job, you can go in there and assign particular users. We did notice that there's a slight bug. The units do come through in meters. I hope that changes soon. Haven't found a way around that, but I hear, depending on the state and depending on the coordinate system, that varies a little bit. We're all done. We've taken a pit stop in the Trimble Connect cloud. All right, fieldwork's done. Let's get it back to the office. Well, all the office person has to do is sync it back to TBC. So back in TBC, there's what we sent out to the field. So we're opening up that project. And again, TBC Connected Workspace is a direct link to Trimble Connect. Again, we're not hunting through file explorers. We're not hunting through cloud services, which are just glorified file explorers. And then we can download the correct data. So here we are, go into Connected Workspace, go to the project. Oh, let it open here. Find the project you're working in. And there's the field data section there. And there's that topo that we had done. It's still in progress. You could complete it. That's something we'd probably show you in your training, but there's that topo data or that survey data, whatever it is. Close that out. And here's what was done in Trimble Access out in the field. Again, not opening file explorers. We're just going into the Connected Workspace, finding the project and downloading what's there. So it was already there. And here's a fully realized model with point cloud data. The Connected Workspace is great for downloading SX10 and SX12 data from the field. I mean, you saw that file structure earlier. And then I'll go into it in a little bit. What you're seeing there is the RealityCapture service, which supports stationing and all that good stuff, or station views. But the nice thing about it is we've got point cloud data, we've got model data, we've got survey data. It's all in one area. And whoever has access to this project can view this the same way. Again, we don't need, all you need is an internet connection. Wouldn't even need TBC if you're kind of a peripheral user or participant in the project, but you want to look at something, you want to review it with somebody. And there's the full process, And again, it's flexible. This is just a typical example. We can start projects in TBC or the cloud. We can even start projects and jobs in Trimble Access, and then we can sync it all the way through. You can go backwards, forwards, whatever it needs to be. This is just a general example of how it can be used. And just for your Sitevision users out here, here's how it is in Sitevision. So Trimble Connect operates the same way. So there's not anything special there. All you're really doing is putting your model data in there. This project started as a PDF. So you don't have to have extensive models to get a benefit from this. It's like, all right, PDF, all right, I got it in here. Maybe, whoever it is, again, all we have is PDF. Once it's in here, this can now be downloaded into TBC or whatever it is. In this case, it was vectorized. Again, it's not a complex model, but it's a useful model. As long as it's put in the right spot. Looks like we're checking this temporary grading easement here. And then we use the Connected Workspace. We send the model out to Sitevision. And there's you just download it into Sitevision. There it is. There's Sitevision on site. There's that model. I didn't pin it to, I probably should have created a surface and pinned it to the surface, but I kind of got the elevation close enough to where my work area was. But there's that easement. That excavation is definitely within that red line, so that all worked out well. And we want to probably just compare what was dug to what was probably designed. The nice thing about Sitevision, if you've got an iOS unit running it, is you can do LiDAR. So we went ahead and did that here, did the whole thing. So if you got Sitevision, you can, and you're doing, depending on your X-ray requirements, you don't need an expensive SLAM scanner to do a lot of work out in the field. Again, if you meet the accuracy requirements. But that automatically uploads to Trimble Connect. You do have to view the point cloud. You do have to have the RealityCapture service, which I'll get into in a minute. There's that point cloud. There's that ditch that we measured. It's probably going to go back into the office here. We're probably going to create something out of it. There it is, overlaid with our PDF or our vectorized PDF. So everything's in the right spot. We're doing some inspection. In this case, I think a surface was built. Oh, there it is in TBC. Can't build surfaces in Connect. We can download it back to TBC through the connected workspace. And in this case, I believe a surface was created probably to compare it to a design, or they were comparing it to previous, probably the previous terrain, and they're probably going to figure out how much they excavated. Maybe there's a pay item off of that or something. But there it is. I think use some of the advanced filtering in TBC to cut down on some of the noise from the iPhone. But that's Sitevision, a quick Sitevision demo. There's way more to it. One of the newer things that kind of works really well with Sitevision is BCF topics. They're BIM collaboration formats. They work with the to-dos. You can actually link the two together within Trimble Connect. But they work really well in Sitevision. I'm hoping that they make their way into other field software. But here in this case, project's done. We want to do some inspection. We just need to spot check some things. You can actually tag the model with a location and then build out your topic, which is over here. So you can tag the location, build out the topic, and get into, here it is in Sitevision. So these actually show up in the augmented reality. So if you tag them with a position, all you got to do is tap on them, and they show up in your field of view within Sitevision. So here's that completed project. You can see, okay, that's all grown in now, and actually the road is there now. So again, if I probably pin this model to actual terrain, it'd look a little better, but it's doing the job. So we're looking at this drain over here is in the right spot, and the BCF topic tagged guides us right to it. So there it is. And again, you'll note if you've ever used Sitevision, you do have to be somewhat close to things for them to look right. It's the forced perspective issue, but yeah, that drain is pretty much in the right spot. The model shows it, and we can view, slide the model in and out of and do our thing, and we can edit the BCF topic, create a photo. We're documenting, we're inspecting. Sitevision does integrate with Mobile Inspector now, so you can do other things with that. They don't necessarily use these, but it's a similar workflow. And the road, by and large, and I think if I put my model in the actual terrain, you can see that road is by and large in the right spot. They didn't mess up anything too badly, so it looks like the curb and gutter is where it should be for the most part. So that's a quick Sitevision demo, and I think out of all the survey software, Sitevision does integrate with Connect the best. So again, if you don't georeference, you don't do things properly, that model's not going to look very good out on site. Or you could manually place it too. That was a real quick example of Trimble Connect and with that, TBC Access and Sitevision. The licensing, all of your Trimble Access users, if your warranty is current, or if you have a Trimble Access subscription, you do get this. So you don't have to pay the $12.99. There is a free version, but it's limited. You can only use one project. If you need standalone version or licenses, for your office users, you're never really in the field, you can subscribe to it for $12.99 a month. If you're heavy BIM users, there are some advanced BIM versions of Connect for that price there. And I did mention subscriptions, so if you are running Access, TBC, RealWorks, Perspective, Sitevision, you do get Trimble Connect Business and Spec Geospatial and stuff like that. And this is a popular topic now, and it's more and more popular by the day, is, well, point clouds. So Trimble last year, almost a year and a half ago, added the RealityCapture service to Trimble Connect. So what is it? It's just an add-on. It's an extension to Trimble Connect. So since there's so much data that's going to run through it, it does have a separate license, but it's designed to help you display point clouds with your model data, or even if you're not doing that, share it with clients. And the cost right now per terabyte is $200 per month. And certainly chime in the comments what your views on that are. But yes, that's the only plan available right now. So again, it's an add-on to Connect. To activate it, you just go into the extensions and the settings and turn on RealityCapture. I believe you can try it. If you don't have the license, you can try this. I don't know if the trial's still going. You can certainly try it. When you turn this on, it may ask you if you want a trial, but that may have ended. I didn't get a chance to verify that before the webinar. But the nice thing about it is it was made, that's the question we get. Well, I want to throw a TDX or my SX12 files in there. Off the bat, this was designed to be a little bit more universal. So LAS, LAZ, and E57 files are supported. So drag and drop when you're in the RealityCapture section. You hit import up here or upload, and this will open up, and you just drag and drop again whatever file it is, well, one of those three. I'll show you here in a second here. So that's it there. Here it is on a tablet. So, and I'll show you an enhancement that was just done to that in a minute. But here's a basic. You got an LAS, LAZ again. So what does this mean? Drone files. So if you've got stuff you're processing in DJI Terra or something like that, and it spits out an LAS or LAZ E57, you got a brand X scanner. You can certainly use this service. All it has to be is in one of those formats. But again, it's a drag. Find your files, drag and drop. The nice thing is, I'll highlight it here, is there's a classify on import, so we can classify regions upon import. So once it's there, we can view in 3D. And we'll zoom in here. So that's true color there. Again, I think in this case, I created some views. True color, there's the classified point cloud. This was done upon import. I didn't do it in TBC. And then there is some model views and all that good stuff there. So that's the integrated model and point cloud capability of Trimble Connect. But there was an enhancement that just came out. So in perspective 2026-10, so when you finalize an export now, you have a new option. And that, you can pick a folder on the device, but now we have the cloud option. And what that does is it brings up a list of your current cloud projects. I don't think you can create one here. So you will have to probably, if you haven't created one already, just go into Trimble Connect real quick and create it and then upload it. Tried it last night, worked pretty well. Did about, it was like 30 scans. It went fairly quick actually, but I'm sure that's internet dependent. So again, if you're using mobile data, you might want to be on Wi-Fi because you're sending gigabytes over it. So just be careful of that, when you're doing this. Or if you have a Cadillac cell phone plan, good for you. So here it is in the Trimble Connect. So again, we uploaded directly from perspective. Here it is in Trimble Connect. This is a screen capture from last night. So, and the stations are supported, which is nice. So when you upload directly, stations are supported. And again, if you've got model data already and everything's georeferenced, it all comes together in the 3D viewer. So, and there's a station view with the model data on our example project there. Moving on from perspective, TBC has the same tool basically, published to TRCPS. So if you're doing a whole bunch of point cloud processing and usually you integrate it with your survey data and stuff like that. But now we're ready to publish to a customer or to your end user, to your client. Again, the way TRCPS works is if you have a license and you create a project, the project is licensed. So if you send an invite for that project to your client, they get to use TRCPS for that project as if they had the license basically. So you hold the license and then it's attached to the project. And then as long as you don't hit your terabyte limits and stuff like that. So, but publish TRCPS, you click on that, you select your point clouds in your map view or your 3D view. It'll tell you what you selected. If you got panoramas, it'll do that. And then there's a drop down with all your Connect projects there. So it's very similar to perspective, just in the TBC user interface. And RealWorks just did it as well. RealWorks, it's in both. If you do the registration or the production sections, publish to TRCPS is in the sharing section. Similar to TBCs where we got the public, you name what you're uploading, pick the project and the project drop-down list. They do give you a little bit better feedback about what you're selecting, what's contained. I do like that. And then you have the option to split the cloud into stations or I think combine it all. Haven't really got to use it yet. It just came out. But again, it's a direct link. So when I hit this publish button, I'm not dumping files into a file explorer. I'm not trying to figure out where it goes, who to send it to, go into Google Drive and invite everybody every time. I send it to the project if all my team members can see it from that project. So this is an older video. I'll just show you what it looks like in TBC. We got a little bit of time here. Let me just show you where it was. Okay, that's importing the data into TBC. Here's the published scan data in TBC, just to show you a quick video of how it works. You know, select the data. I'll give it a name, whatever you're publishing. Select the project. And we're coming up on time here, but so again, select your project in your Explorer or your map view, 3D view, whatever it is. You know, traditional, you know, same way you would select anything. Again, if there's stations there, it may or may not get them. Sometimes you have to select the stations in the Project Explorer, but you select it there. It tells you what you selected. Point cloud regions, stations with panoramas. It's an SX12 job, so it's 5 of them. And you hit publish. So pretty straightforward. Again, right to the cloud. But here, I want to get to the point where, okay, yeah, we've got point cloud data in the TRCPS. Once you invite team members, again, if your project is licensed with RealityCapture service, whoever you invite to this project, so if it's a client or an end user, homeowner, the mayor of a city, whoever it is, they will now have access to the point cloud if you invite them. So let's go ahead and do that. So you just open your project. You know, check your team. If you need to invite them, go ahead and do that. Okay, I guess I got to invite people to this project. So go ahead and do that. All right, let's get through that. Yeah, you don't need to see me typing emails to myself. So they will get, yeah, so as soon as you do that, you invite, they will get in their email, whatever it is, they will get an invite, and now they can view the project as if they had the license, basically. So they are getting full access to your Trimble Connect RealityCapture project. And there's a map. You just click on the cloud that you want to see, view in 3D. And the nice thing is too, oh, there's some model data. So if you got model data in there, they can see that as well. If you don't want them to see that, again, you can restrict people from seeing certain things in this deep down in the settings. But again, anybody who's invited to the project can see what you've done. And they can download. So you can I do want to mention that you can download the LAS files from the viewer. And then again, its strength is, you know, here's a bridge project with a surface. A survey was done with an SX12. You know, again, you might have a Teams meeting or not a Teams meeting. I'll talk about that in a second. But you can now review the data. Everyone can look at it. If they're invited to the project, they can look at it. Again, they don't need a license if they're a part of the project, if they're a team member. Here's some view data or station view. We'll move on there. Measure tools. So that's, you know, like what would a client be able to do with this? Okay, you can now, there's some measuring tools, and this is good. There's more and more added all the time. So we got like span here, clearance. You can measure things. I think you can calculate areas now. They can mark things up. They can create new views. You may have to walk them through that, but oh, hey, this is an area of interest. Okay, we're gonna mark that. We're gonna assign it to a to-do, go back out and take a look at it, or we might be even able to evaluate it in the point cloud, maybe in the raw data or in a panorama, the photo panorama or something. There's also clipping planes. So if we wanna, you know, there's not a ton of tools in here, but there's enough to where people can get useful information out of it. Need to look at that cross section, okay, or whatever they would do that for, but it's in there. And new as of yesterday, I had to scramble to get this in here. For you mobile mapping users, there is now the multi-pane viewer. So, because mobile mapping units, there's so much data. You got point clouds, you got panoramas, you got trajectories. So being able to do QA/QC or reviews, there's a it looks like a Guido unit is there as well, and there's a cross section that it's going along. So lots of cool things in the multi-plane viewer. I can't wait to use it. Gotta get out with the mobile mapping unit, maybe work with our mobile mapping team, see what they think of it. But it just came out yesterday, so If you are a Connect user, get in there, take a look at it. It's right in it's at the top of the TRCPS. It's unfortunately I don't have it in here, but you'll see it. If not, just give us a call. And upcoming or new stuff that also came out, Trimble Connect. If you're familiar with the interface, there is now the Trimble Connect Assistant. It's an AI assistant. You can type your question in there. How do I do this? Rather than searching through the help, how to upload files to TRCPS, right? Okay, so using this for the first time, the Connect Assistant is right there on the right next to this little application matrix. This will be also heading to other Trimble software. So this, I guess, is where they're starting with it, is Trimble Connect. I know there's talk of adding it to other software. I won't say which, but we hope to see that in a lot of things soon. And there's also a live collaboration. That's in beta. So if you go into the extensions in the 3D viewer, you will see this here. I believe that multiple people can look at a model and collaborate live. Haven't had a chance to test it, but it's kind of like a Teams thing or a Zoom thing. And I can't say which, but there will be upcoming integration with outside cloud services. So, all of these various companies that we work with, they're all going to have to probably talk to each other through their cloud services. So that's upcoming. There has been some drone integrations that were built in. I know Wingtra, DJI, Pix4D have some integrations with Trimble Connect. So certainly ask us about that. And it is in the handout section of the GoToWebinar meeting controls. There is a Trimble Connect case study that we did with 3 companies. Big shout out to them and our marketing department for doing this. 3 companies, CEC, American Structure Point, and QK4. Big thank you to them for participating in this. Their findings are in this case study. Again, it's in the handout section. You can download it out of the meeting controls, but here is the web link if you want to screenshot that real quick. And we only got 5 minutes. I don't want to keep people too long. I will stay on after if we need to answer more questions, but there's how to get a hold of us. There's how to get a hold of me, or our general survey support, and our toll-free line. And with that, let's see if we've got any questions in the chat. Okay, we got a couple. Do they need to log in to connect, or is it viewed in a browser? If I had to guess, this question is from Trimble Access. I could be wrong. Yes, you do need to, when you're in Trimble Access, you do need to log in to connect. If you want to download the Trimble Access, same with TBC, you do have to have a active Trimble ID if you need to download a TBC. So once you're logged into your Trimble ID, the TBC Connected Workspace is active. But if you just want to view data or model data in general, you can go into a browser. So, or phone, phone or PC. There's iOS and Android apps. So if you just want to view data, you can go into the browser. But if it's the survey software, TBC, Access, Sitevision, you do have to be logged into your Trimble ID or Trimble Connect. So any other things in the chat? I don't see them. I'm trying to expand this question section, guys. Sorry. Okay, let's try and go through these. Is there a way to get a list of all the jobs I have in Trimble? You probably just want to go on Connect Web. It will list everything that you have. Shannon asked this. Yeah, if you go into Connect Web, it does list every job that you have. If you have jobs on multiple Trimble IDs, you'll have to log in to each of those IDs. Okay, do you log in Connect? Sorry, the TRCP license projects do. Yes, that's a good question from Hunter there. The TRCPS projects. So yes, if you do share a point cloud to a client with TRCPS, they will have to create a Trimble ID. So they will be prompted to do so. So that is one of the limitations there. If they don't want to do that, I guess you could, you'll have to find other ways to share. Does the Connect software work with Trimble Earthworks? Yeah, so Trimble Earthworks and Siteworks, they have their own separate kind of customized versions of Trimble Connect. You can use the Connect browser like you saw today, but they do have their own special versions. And unfortunately, we don't have anything to really do with that. You'd have to probably talk with your SciTech reps about Earthworks and Siteworks. Can we delete jobs from the cloud? permanently? Yes. Yes, you can delete jobs from the cloud. You got to go into the settings, and on the page where you set the coordinate system with the map there is a delete option, and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to delete permanently? So yes, that is in the settings, project details, where you set the coordinate system. There is a way to delete the project permanently. So, and if not, if it doesn't let you, let us know. Sometimes, depending on who's part of the project, it can be that. But I think that's all the questions. So I thank you all for spending an hour with me on Trimble Connect. I can't show you everything. Kind of open the door. Hopefully you saw something you didn't know about, something you want more information on. We'll certainly handle that with you. Again, you can contact me directly if you want me to set up an example project, because what I can do is license TRCPS projects. So if you want to try one, let me know. And if for anything, there's the survey support and toll-free line. I'll stick around for a couple of minutes, but thank you all.